the United States and China have agreed on a framework for a new trade deal ahead of an expected meeting between President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping later this week. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Trade Representative Jamieson Greer met Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng and top negotiator Li Chenggang in Kuala Lumpur on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit for their fifth round of in-person talks since the month of May. Bessent said the framework paves the way for quote-unquote a successful discussion between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping on Thursday and hinted that Washington may delay new 100% tariffs on Chinese goods if progress continues. He also, in fact, confirmed that the talks touched on trade balance, agricultural exports, fentanyl controls, rare earths, and even TikTok. China's Li Chenggang called the talks constructive and said both the sides have reached a preliminary consensus pending internal approvals. The move comes as both the nations try to avoid another escalation in their trade war. The current truce, first agreed in May, is due to expire on November 10th, but U.S. officials say an extension on it is also possible. Donald Trump, now in Malaysia on the first leg of his 5-day Asia tour, struck an optimistic tone, saying, "I think we are going to have a deal with China." Now, if all goes as planned, Donald Trump and Xi are expected to meet face-to-face in South Korea on October 13th.
Do well with China.
US President Donald Trump sounded confident on Sunday about hashing out a trade deal with China's President Xi Jinping in an expected meeting later this week.
I think we'll have a good deal with China, and they want to make a deal, and we want to make a deal.
His optimism came after the US and China's top economic officials wrapped up talks on a positive note on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit in Malaysia. Both sides are looking to avert further escalations in their trade war. Beijing and Washington had earlier struck a truce, which is due to expire on November 10th. But Trump has since threatened new 100% tariffs on Chinese goods and other trade curbs starting on November 1st. That was in retaliation for China's vastly expanded export controls on rare earth magnets and minerals. On Sunday, the US and Chinese officials said they had reached a preliminary consensus on a framework for a trade agreement. Among the issues discussed, a truce extension, fentanyl, rare earths, TikTok, and more. Trump's 5-day Asia tour is expected to end with a face-to-face with Xi in South Korea on October 30th, although, as of the Sunday talks, Beijing had yet to confirm the meeting. At the summit of Southeast Asian nations, Trump pledged his country's support for the region, which is among the hardest hit by US tariffs.
The United States is with you 100%. And we intend to be a strong partner and friend for many generations to come. It's the golden age of America, golden age of the United States. Together we'll create incredible prosperity for the nations on both sides of the Pacific Ocean.
He signed a flurry of trade and critical mineral deals, including with Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, which pledged to remove trade barriers and provide preferential market access to various US goods. Trump also oversaw the signing of an expanded ceasefire deal between Thailand and Cambodia.
The Kuala Lumpur Peace Accords, good name.
The US president had backed Malaysia's mediation efforts and helped broker an end to the 5-day conflict in July. In calls to the then leaders of the two countries, Trump warned them to stop the fighting, their worst in recent history, or risk their trade talks with Washington being put on hold.